Hello and welcome to the Church of Årabrot. We're here to discuss a few things about our new album Norwegian Gothic. You can put this simply, and it's a rock and roll album done the Årabrot way, and we wanted to share basically the music we love, which is the music in our record collection, and the literature we love, which is, you know, the books in the bookshelves here in the church. To be a bit more specific, you might want to say that it's our special kind of rock and roll music, and thematically it's a mix between, it's taken inspiration from end of the century decadence like Huysmans, and surrealism, and also, you know, pinch of German philosophy. I was reading, the German philosophers I was reading was Theodor Adorno and Nietzsche at the time. We have a very good friend who has a master in Nietzsche, so we got a lot of inside information in a way from her, and I was reading some of that stuff, and one of my favorite writers of all time is Cormac McCarthy, and I was reading some of his books at the time too, which is I feel that because we live so far into the countryside and you're so close to nature in a way, I feel that sort of, I call that cowboy realism, but in many ways it's Southern Gothic, I guess is what they call that. So that fits with Norwegian Gothic. So that style of Cormac McCarthy is it's really fitting to the music that we make, the music I make, and also where we live. If we do the long explanation of how this album came about, it was I was seriously sick. We did the album called The Gospel, which was like a big explosion. It was like I was at war with myself. I tried to describe this war, the sensation of being at war with oneself. And after that album, that came as an explosion, and after the explosion you have this sort of immense silence, this sort of ringing silence. And I wasn't sure what to do with that silence, with that void. So either you fill the void with just more silence, or else you move on somehow. And I wanted to fill that gap with what I love the most, and what I love the most is rock and roll music. So that was the whole idea behind Who Do You Love that came after The Gospel. That album was kind of the start of this new path, I guess, which I think that Norwegian Gothic is even more of exactly that, trying to show the rock and roll side of Årabrot, trying to share my and our love for rock and roll music. There's still a lot of sort of 70s. When you add your mellotrons, there's a lot of 70s Led Zeppelin. There's,
I think there's
T-Rex there.
Yeah, T-Rex, and even though maybe not typical for the mellotron sound, it's the Doors is an influence that
absolutely
comes back every time, and Kjetil, more influenced by rock music. I come from a more electronic background, so I've been listening to a lot of Burial and The Knife.
After doing the gospel and Who Do You Love more or less on my own in a way, at least there was a writing process as usual, and then the gospel, writing all of these songs and trying to organize the whole recording sessions and everything. I think that it just came naturally that on this record, which I had a feeling would it would sum up Årabrot. At least the past 10 years of Årabrot would be summed up in this record. I wanted it to do that, and it also did. I think that the music, maybe even the music of all of Årabrot, has been summed up in this Norwegian Gothic album.
It's strange though, because Kjetil, he always says to me, like, this is what the reviews is gonna say about the album. Before it's even recorded, he knows how the reviews is gonna be. So it's strange, you have a very specific idea of how it's gonna sound in the end, which is...
I'm very good at guessing.
It's no, but it's a cool thing to be a part of something with someone who's so sure in his vision that, it feels very confident.
Right.
I usually say, Kjetil, he knows what we're doing, I know how we're doing.